Are you sure this is a good idea?
Don't go cold on me now.
No, I'm not.
I need your backing.
Random breath tests among the staff. You don't think it's going to antagonise
They're
them?
not compulsory, so anyone who...
Oh, if it isn't Howie's very own answer to Joe Stalin.
Morning, Connie.
I see the zero tolerance juggernaut rolls on regardless.
Moving into phase 2 of the operation even as we speak.
Operation? Operation, isn't that something you used to perform before you started this crusade?
Mrs. Hewitt, good morning. How are you?
Widowed.
Kathy, how can we help?
It's all right, Connie. You don't need to get involved.
Right, I'll leave this to you if there's...
I'm Howard Sloane, Mrs. Hewitt's solicitor. Is there somewhere we could talk?
Yeah.
I will not calm down!
I think we just
After what I have been through.
I understand.
Oh, so your husband was murdered by a surgeon too, was he?
No one's been murdered, Mrs. Hewitt.
Says who?
Our position is, if you'd kept Mr. Hewitt in hospital and ran the tests he needed, you could have dealt with the peritonitis without invasive surgery. In other words, the delay in treating the original condition may well have caused the cardiac arrest, which in turn left him susceptible to the infection that killed him.
Well, obviously, that's not how we see it.
The second that you turned him away, you signed his death warrant.
Unfortunately, your husband put his own health at risk due to his lifestyle choices.
Who do you think you are?
Please.
God Almighty!
The aim of zero tolerance is not to punish people.
Just kill them, eh?
Your husband supported the policy. In fact, we're extending it. We're about to introduce random alcohol tests on our own staff.
So?
So, I hope that proves that we want everyone to be in the right shape when they walk through our doors.
This is a hospital. People come here because they are sick.
All that I want to do...
You took an oath, okay, to help people. Fat, thin, black, white.
And that's exactly...
You are a bloody hypocrite!
What would you like us to do?
Mrs. Hewitt wants access to staff involved in the case and all the paperwork.
Well, I am afraid that's not possible.
Typical.
The paperwork is currently being prepared for the coroner, and until we receive his report, that is confidential.
I've already explained that.
Then, with the greatest respect, why are we having this conversation?
Because I wanted to see for myself whether you would be prepared to take the blame.
It isn't a matter of blame.
Let's see if a judge agrees with that, shall we?
I hope that I've explained everything clearly.
Absolutely crystal.
You'll be hearing from us in due course.
Right. If there's anything else that we can do...
I'd like to see these breathalyzer tests you're doing.
I'm sorry?
Have you got a problem with that?
These tests are meant to be confidential.
Oh, you mean secret?
No.
Can I ask why?
Well, I saw a couple of your staff this morning looking like the living dead.
That doesn't necessarily mean
And
that...
I would like to see exactly how you treat them if they are over the limit.
Fine.
Rick,
No, I think that Mrs. Hewitt should be allowed to sit in. Perhaps that might reassure her about our staff and our procedures.
Just take a look at the evidence before you decide to confess.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Can I do something for you?
No. We were just checking up on a patient here. We had to transfer him upstairs. We ran out of beds.
Okay.
Okay. Come on.
Hello, again.
Mr. Griffin.
I take it it's time that we brought the trust's lawyers in.
Yes, but you might want to listen to this first.
Fine.
One of my colleagues has been doing some research into your research on zero tolerance.
Research into the research.
And we have strong reason to believe that some of the statistics you quoted in a recent newspaper interview were fictitious.
What?
That my Steve died because of a pack of lies.
I'm sorry, but that's frankly absurd.
That a chief of surgery would implement a policy based on falsehoods, I agree.
I oversaw the research. I appointed the staff who carried it out.
Oh, so the buck stops with you, then?
I don't know who your source is, but they've got this badly wrong.
In the light of this revelation, I want to give you fair warning that regardless of the coroner's report, we'll be pressing for a formal inquiry into Mr. Hewitt's death.
Well, you'll only be wasting Mrs. Hewitt's time and money.
Yes, well, I've got plenty of both to spare.
We'll be in touch.
You can't believe him.
I think you have to book in with our lawyers when you finish here. If she sues, it's your head she wants on a plate.
I've spoken to my researcher.
And?
He assures me that his sources were 100% reliable.
And he can prove it?
I've asked for all the data, and I'll go through it personally.
Yes, good idea.
There is something else. Annalise Spence failed the breathalyzer.
What?
I know.
By how much?
She was just over the limit.
Talk about making a rod for your own back. You tell me.
Rick, Jayne, we have a word? So, my wife has failed your breathalyzer test.
I'm afraid so.
I understand what you're trying to do here, Rick, but I think that this situation needs to be put in some type of context.
Yes, well, I am failing to see what sort of context.
We had some bad news last night. An old school friend of Annalise's died. Cervical cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
She was 35, 2 kids. Anyway, as you can imagine, Annalise was devastated, and she couldn't sleep, so she had a drink. When that didn't work, she just kept on drinking, and when Rick called her in for the test, Annalise didn't want to use her friend's passing as an excuse, and well, here we are.
If you want me to resign,
I don't think that's going to be necessary.
And obviously, seeing the state that she was in this morning, both physically and emotionally, I had no intention of letting her anywhere near theater. I arranged for Dr. Green to pick up her caseload for the rest of the day.
Well, we can't pretend that this hasn't happened.
I don't want you to.
So how should we proceed?
If you were prepared to undergo regular testing and have your work supervised by Dr. Rose for a probationary period,
Yeah, that seems fair.
then I see no reason for any further action.
Right. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Are we done?
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. Annalise? Oh, by the way, I signed off on the Hewitt case.
How does it look?
Straightforward coronary. Not to scare the horses.
Good.
Oh. Had a big powwow, have we?